This is the voice of freedom. We are not one voice. We are many. We are your voice. But we can only be effective if you use your voice. Your voice. This is the voice of freedom. We will not hide from the truth. We will ask the hard questions until we are sure we have the truth. Welcome to the voice of freedom, where your voice will never be silenced. Hello, folks. Welcome along to Friday night. It is the Friday night free for all. That means just about anything is possible of happening. And, well, you get to play a role if you want. A little later on, we'll throw up the link to come in and join us in the chat. So if you've got something you want to say, you've got questions you want to ask, we do have a few rules. There'll be no abuse. There's no accusing people of things or coming on and carrying on like a bloody pork chop. It's Friday night. Get a beer, sit down, relax. We're going to have a bit of fun. Or at least that's the hope tonight. We will try and teach you a couple of new things. There is some rather, interesting news that seems to be coming out of Queensland Health. I haven't been able to confirm yet, but if there are any Queensland teachers who are unjabbed and have been taken and invited back to work, I'm very keen to hear you guys in chat tonight. You may or may not have received a letter today, and if you have, I'll be very keen to see exactly what it says, because from what I hear, it could be very interesting. I haven't even informed the man himself about these, latest developments yet. We should bring him on before I start telling him things. Good evening to Dave Guru Graham. How are you, mate?
G'day, Carl. How are you, mate? Thank you. G'day to all Carl's viewers, and we've just shared this out. We're going to get rid of the problems this week, people. We just go on Carl's stream, and it's shared out to My Stop the Rot, and we'll get it out to a few places from there. So, g'day to everyone. Yeah, there is some stuff going on, Carl. It's a crazy war we're in, mate, and there's furpies and lefties and coming out. But I do know what you're talking about, obviously, because I do have a super producer, and yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get hold of one of those letters. Now, I've already produced some stuff with the kids and the V's at school and what they're carrying on, Carl. They're sending letters home to try and pressure people into doing things, just coercement. You know what I mean? They write it in such a vague way. There's just coercement, you know what I mean? But they manipulate it, you know what I mean? And it's getting right out of hand, people. And I had a bit of a rant on my show a while ago, and we got to get together, guys. Okay, if Carl wants to talk about it, we can talk about it later. He's got a couple of things to talk about. But, yeah, this what I put out there about we doing something on the 27th of this month, and then what my ideas on doing that were was done on my show. But we may cover it later.
Yep, absolutely, mate. Happy to talk about it. I'm giving thumbs up. Flannel Friday. People have taken a liking to me, Flanny. I own one Flanny. This is it. I bought it yesterday. I wore it for the first time last night because it was bloody cold in here, and I put it on just as I came back into the room tonight because it's a bit chilly again. So it's sort of
well, I've got the Don't Bully on, Carl.
Oh yes, very good, mate.
Got a few of these, mate. Yeah. And this is what our government's doing to us, isn't it? Bullying us,
mate.
Into submission, mate. But we ain't submission. Yeah, we're fighters.
Well, let me read. If this is true, let me read what. Oh, hang on a minute. The super producers have arrived. Hang on. Let's get her smiling face on because she's a hell of a lot better to look at than you are.
How are you?
Evening. How are you, madam?
Yeah, good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. So let me just read this text. You and I spoke about this earlier today, Kaz, so there is no surprise here. But let me just give you an idea of what this text says. One of my best friends is a Queensland teacher. She was allowed back to work this term, but has now received a letter that says they're going to take disciplinary proceedings against her for contravening without reasonable excuse the direction to be jabbed. So, as we've said before, they're trying to get the workers through a failure to follow direction or policy sort of thing. She has until Monday, the 8th of August, to respond. So they may have received these letters at some stage this week. Today's the first time I'm hearing about it. So if you are a Queensland teacher and you've received one of these letters, I'd be very interested to hear from you tonight. So she has until Monday, the 8th, to respond and show cause why they should not take disciplinary action. She has already had 6 months without work, and now they're proposing to discipline her with a possible reduction in remuneration for a period of 20 weeks. So they're going to if this is true, they're thinking about docking teachers' wages for 20 weeks. They haven't said the exact amount.
Let's say an average of $2,000 a week. That's 40 grand. They're going to dock them, Carl.
So, well, you couldn't take all their earnings off them every week, you see. And I guess, depending on what commitments the teachers have, their disposable income, they'll only be able to take a percentage of the disposable income. And I'm sure if you listen to a teacher, they'll tell you that there is no disposable income because, after 12 weeks holiday and $2 grand a week, there's still not enough money to go around. So that's another story. But, that's how I think this is going to play out. So looking from Queensland Educated through a Queensland Education Telegram group, Red Union apparently will be assisting their members, but there is no clue as to how yet. Many teachers, of course, aren't part of the Red Union and so don't have access to any kind of support like that. So if there is anybody that knows anything about this, if you're a Queensland teacher, then we want to hear from you tonight. I don't know, start screaming in the chat. Whatever, we will find you. Send me an email, voiceoffreedomhq@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can't get you in. So what do you think, guys? How do you what do you think the response should be if this proves to be correct? I must stress at the moment, folks, I haven't confirmed this. I haven't ever seen the letter. I don't know if it exists. The text comes from a very reliable source, but is not involved in the education side of things, is involved in other areas of this battle. So I have no reason to distrust the source, but I have not yet seen anything that would confirm it. So let's not get all too excited until we've seen that. That's probably the best advice, Dave, yeah?
Yeah, not get too excited, but get prepared. Because if this has happened, we need to group up, go to our local state education office, or maybe someone here could inform us where we need to go. And we need to get in numbers and we need to stand up against this stuff, guys. This is what we've got to do. We've got to be standing up against all of these ridiculous procedures that they're bringing against us. Okay, we can't have it. Okay, and we've got people waking up. And, I had a rant today and last night on the show. I said, it's time for the lions, get the lions, okay, and let's start roaring and get to work, all right? The sheep, they're going to wake up behind us now, are just going to trail along and help us out. But what we've got now is what we've got, and we need to make a move and a stand on everything they're doing to us, people. So we need to group up, and this is something that I was talking about on my channel, Carl, how we can actually do that, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But we need to get active in our communities and don't stand for it. They have no right. They have no authority. They have no legal law, LORE. They have nothing. Nothing, folks. They are fictitious. They do not exist.
And my advice would be, if you're a teacher that's received one of these kinds of messages, I would band together with the other teachers that were sacked or made redundant because they refused to be jabbed up in the first phase, and I'd all walk out of school again because, teachers are worth every cent they get paid because essentially they're doing your daycare for you people. All right? I mean, education is an important thing, and so far we've handed and abdicated our responsibilities over to teachers, and with the greatest of respect to the world super producer sitting here, a lot of those teachers have been indoctrinated in universities and now are pushing the leftist message or the green-tard message in as many different fashions as they possibly can, and pushing outrageous lies about everything else they disagree with. Our schools are not doing the job they're designed to do at the moment. They're certainly not educating our children. And I believe that those good people who avoided the jab and are now, by the sounds of it, going to be persecuted again should just step back once again and watch the education system grind to a halt, because that's exactly what will happen.
Yeah, I'd have to wait to confirm that because I know that they're desperately struggling for teachers. So losing a further more teachers who would, the issue that they have is a lot of the teachers went into the corporate world and they're earning a lot more money than they did when they were teaching. And so they're really struggling to get teachers back. So I'd find it, if that letter is true, then it's like, it's very strange because they're struggling to get teachers anywhere in Australia at the moment.
I would put in a quick comment on that, Carl, and I would say, Kaz, that exactly what they want to do. It's part of their program. They're not really interested in rebuilding our schools or having you good teachers in there. You people stood up for what you believed in. You are the people we need teaching our kids. Unfortunately, we are left with some other people who were coerced and fell for it. Okay, so they're actually going to put the pressure on you guys. I can see this being legit because they're going to screw you guys down, man. Okay, because they don't want you in there because you are going to educate our kids. You're not going to go into their woke bullshit. You're not going to teach their friggin' lesbian crap. Okay, because you are a good person. You're the good teachers left. Yes, I agree. And some of them got other jobs. But I'm telling you, they're just going to screw the friggin' thing down on you, man, and wipe you out because they want to decimate the community. Sorry for the horrible news, guys, but if you want the truth, that's what I'm saying. That's my opinion.
Yep. Yeah,
More to
I think
come.
you've got a
Look
valid
out.
point
More
there
to come.
too. More opinions, you mean?
Well, no, more to come in what they're doing. More stuff like this. Because they're going to screw us down, man. They're going to hammer us. They're going to try. We're not going to let them. We're not going to let them.
No, don't be coerced, folks. You've stood up once before. If this is true, and let's not hype it up because we don't know if it's true yet, but if it's true, then we have to stand up again and we have to stop it. Bring the education system to a halt once again. And if I was a teacher, I would be, oh, gee, now I've really upset Kaz. If I was a teacher, I would be banding together with all like-minded souls and starting a class action against the bastards that are sending you these letters. You know?
Yeah, look, there's a few ways to think of it. My mind, because of what I know, Carl's coming up, you know, and we're pretty educated on this sort of stuff, you know, and that's what and it's horrible for me to have to make them statements, you know, but that's what I feel they'll be doing. They're breaking down our society, like my $4,000 fine the other day off council, Carl. We know that the smart cities will be instigated through the local councils. Now, here I am getting fined $4,000 for a bit of road base on the road when the truck left. You know what I mean? And this is what they're doing. So it's going to come in all different areas, all shapes and sizes, folks. We need to stand up and say no.
Yeah. Push back. Together, unified as one. If we all push together as one, there isn't a wall in the world we can't knock down, metaphorically or physically, if we really want to get into that. There you go. I'm quite concerned. I thought I'd upset you with all this teacher talk.
Oh, no.
Bailed on
I
me.
freeze when I'm uploading. I freeze sometimes when I'm uploading that just overloads my system.
And we can't upset each other. You know why we can't upset each other, Carl? Because what we do, all right, and we talk a lot between ourselves and that, but I can talk to Kazza. I can tell Kazza any of my opinions and she won't be upset by them, mate. She will take them and she will assess them and she will take out of them what she wants and what she doesn't want. But this is because we are true-speaking adults, okay? And we're here for one reason, folks, okay? To wake people up, to speak the truth, all right, and to get this thing happening, okay? That's what Carl's putting his hours in for. That's why I put my hours, my wife, Kaz, you know, all the people that are behind the scenes in Canberra to do what we've done, okay? It's because we love yous and we want yous to be around, okay? And we want to share some food with you, all right? We don't want to be told we can't share eggs with you, that we can't give you our friggin' vegetables, that we can't live on the land, or you'd be chased down by a drone, okay? People, we got to wake up, man. Sorry, I'm on a rant at the moment, Carl. I am just on a rant, man. We got to get this together.
Yep, I agree. We have to stand up. You have to unite. And I know that's difficult for people because, you know, you don't know who the other people around you are. And that's what's, you know, been good with the shows that I've been able to get out and do on Tuesday nights interviewing Ricardo. And I don't think that we need to have Ricardo to have a live show, Dave. People come out to meet other like-minded people. And the problem that we have with our side of the argument is that we've been browbeaten, we've been hated on, we've lost friends, we've lost family. Every single one of us has lost people that we never thought in our life we would lose over something like this argument. So everybody has an emotional attachment to this argument. The problem is, if we share our side of it too much, we get shouted down, yelled at, abused, and lose more friends. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of us, and we need to support each other. We need to be able to see each other. We need to be able to acknowledge each other. And that's where getting on the street, getting to the street, and touching the people is great. Sharing a meal. And that's what the plan is. As you well know, Dave, we want to get on the road. You want to get on the water, or a bit of both. And sorry, Kaz, where you go?
The emphasis has really shifted over the last possibly 25, 30 years. The emphasis used to be that you would debate an argument and you would present your argument. And the reason why free speech has always been valued is because you can assess both sides of the argument and decide which one you support, or which bit of it you support and which bit you don't. So in free speech, really, there's nothing wrong. In fact, if you have true free speech, then it's pretty easy, because you realize who the idiots are. And you go, okay, well, they've shown their true colors. You don't actually, like, everyone's so polite, we have to actually sort it out. We have to figure out, okay, they know that's not acceptable, etc. What has happened now is it's ad hominem. So rather than debating the issue, they attack the person that they think people have been educated, or actually I would say engineered into, if it doesn't subscribe to a certain point of view, then they have to attack the person, and that person is bad, or that person is evil. Well, why don't we just accept that everybody is good and bad in some respect, and let's actually get back to debating the issues, so we can actually decide on what the actual issues are and how they can benefit us and move us forward. I don't necessarily agree.
That's a brilliant analogy. Brilliant analogy, Kaz, but they won't let that happen, because the truth will come out.
They don't want us speaking. If they had any good arguments, they would have used them already. That's why they don't. That's why they just attack us on a personal level. So they don't have any arguments. We know they don't have any arguments, and so they must silence us. That is why we're constantly shut down and keep booted off every single social media platform. That's exactly why. It's because they can't. Because we're too convincing. People hear it and they go, hang on a minute, that makes sense. Why can't we use that? So, Amanda was just on with us. She's a little trooper.
Oh, cool.
And so what I put out, Carl, just quickly to touch on it, to give your viewers an idea, because I need this reach actually, while we're here, people. So Carl, what I put out was last night, the Melbourne people are putting something on the 27th, I think it is, of this month. Okay, down there in Melbourne at the Shrine, I think, or somewhere. Now, up here, we've been doing nothing. We're asleep in New South Wales. We're terrible, okay? So what I was doing was putting a call out to the Tubes and maybe congregating at Hyde Park on the 27th. And quickly, what I was then going to do, folks, was try and group up and go, okay, everyone from the Sutherland Shire, put your hand up. Go over the left over there, exchange your phone numbers, get a Telegram group, Sutherland Shire going now. Let's get on, right? Right, you people from the Manly and the Northern Beaches, go to that corner. Everyone start exchanging phone numbers, get a Telegram, go on from the North Shore. And I had this plan of doing this. Now, when I put it past some people, Carl, I was told, and you know what I'm talking about, that probably infiltration will be one of our worst things, because we're at a rally or a put-together march. So I put it out to my viewers, how do we do this? Do we now start and get these actual Telegram pages up and running now, so people can join from these specific areas? We can group up, and as these stupid things come against our people, we can group up as a community, and we can also start our councils, you know what I mean? And we can get the people involved, because all the people that are watching our shows and that are awake, Carl, these are the people that, you people out there are brilliant, mate, okay? You have won the psychological war, I would presume. Some of you may have been tricked in the first instance and had a couple of shots, and now you've woken up. I don't really know, and I don't really care, okay? I care for you if you've had the shots. I should rephrase that. But the point is, okay, we need to group up as a community, and I'm trying to find a way to get us all together, Carl, so that if that happens in the Sutherland Shire, boom, we got a couple of thousand people there going, no way, it's not happening. And then we can make ground. You know, we've got to utilize what we've got, you know, and somehow or other we're too splintered, and we have to get this together. That's why I've been on a rant for a few days, Carl. There you go.
Well, I can see why you're at it, because Melbourne, there are some elements in Melbourne that seem to be taking control of the freedom movement, or at least telling everybody that they're taking control of the freedom movement. I don't know that that's going to actually wind up being executed in anything that will be remotely like what you're talking about and what you and I have been referring to for some time. We have to be unified, folks, and a whole bunch of people with an ego and an agenda jumping up and down saying we're leading the movement doesn't mean that everybody's going to follow you. And that's, what I'm about. I'm about giving people as much information as possible to make
What
up
if
their own mind. We'll give you the opportunity to make up your own mind. You don't have to believe what I say. You don't have to believe what anybody else says. What you do need to do is get as much information as you possibly can and make your own decision. There's no point. I'm not going to try and tell you that I've got the solution, but I am going to tell you that the only way we will find a solution is through us, a unified solution. That is the only way. So hopefully the voice of freedom, because it is your voice, not mine. It's Dave's voice, not mine. It's Kaz's voice. It's your voice. It's every person's voice that is watching this show now and that wants freedom. That's what this show is about. And if we can unite enough people around that message, it doesn't matter who's speaking it. It'll be the same message. And that's the key to what we're planning. So if you can support us, that's great.
Sorry.
We a few weeks ago or months ago, I don't know, everything's all blurred into one at the moment, but we had Fanos on, and he has a brilliant idea. He's set up something called Tribe. And in Melbourne, what he does is he goes to an area, he books out a hall, people come along, they take a colour, and then they know that whether people are interested in just socialising, whether they've got kids, or whether they're interested in making business connections. And so everything's colour-coded once you get there, having massive success with it, because he's just a guy who's providing a service. He's just basically saying, hey, you guys all need to be connected. How about I provide the vehicle for that?
That's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely great idea. So kind of guy I'd like to get on and talk on my show too. So we might see if we can't hook him up. I think that's a great community building thing, something to be rolled out right around the country. So we need that at every level. It doesn't matter how big your town is or how small your town is. Everybody has to be involved here. Nobody gets left behind, and certainly not our originals or our Indigenous natives. They get a big say in what's going on in all of this. I know that there are certain elements within that sphere at the moment that are working in one direction, and there are elements that are working in a different direction. There are some elements that aren't working in any direction whatsoever. It's important. It's important that we bring this together, that we bring everybody, every Indigenous Australian comes along for the ride. And when I say every Indigenous Australian, the word Indigenous means you were born here. So every person that was born on this land is Indigenous. Colour doesn't matter. Creed doesn't matter. The fact is you were born here. You are part of this country, and we want you to come with us.
The rest of you come on in anyway. Yeah, as long as you're good people, come in. We'll put our arm around you and take you on the walk with us. No worries.
Yep, absolutely. We have, in fact, I'm not going to go into it tonight, but there is a great plan. If you want to talk about immigration and all that sort of thing, then I'll go to you with a plan for that. But we're not a political party yet. Us might turn into one. You never know. Wouldn't it be nice to see that on a ballot paper? The dickhead Liberals, the dickhead Labors, and us. Who are you going to vote for?
Hey, Carl, I'll just put a quick call out. I'll put a quick call out because you don't know where these shows go, okay? Hey, Hoax, if you're out there, dude, all right, you're going to love having a chat with me, all right, and throwing another friggin' shrimp on the barbie, okay? So when you're here in Oz, look up Guru.
Hey, hang on a minute.
Right?
Are you trying to use my platform? Are you trying to use my platform to attract celebrities to you? Is that how this works?
No, you cut me off. I was about to say, and we'll get you on Carl's show, was what I was about to say. See, you shut me down, Carl.
That's
no,
big of you,
Hoax.
That's huge.
You see the show.
I can see how
anyone
this show's going to work out.
We want him. We want Hoax. We want him on here.
Yeah. Well, I'd certainly like to have a talk to Hoax. After Dave, of course.
Why do you think
I know he sold the place.
The tax department ran away from him, Carl? Why do you think the tax department ran away from him?
Well, that is an interesting story. And you might be surprised to find that I know a bit more about that than most people. But I'm not going to go into that now. It could get somebody in trouble. So I'm not going to mention anything like that. But,
we won't.
I know a bit about that.
This gives people something to research.
A lot of people think he was quite nefarious, but Hoag's not the case. Not the case. Just a smart, very smart man. And he had a business partner, Strop, who was even smarter. Yeah. So
drink Vegemite and eggs.
Yeah. Vegemite and eggs, nothing better. Nothing better. All right, let me have a cough. Pardon me. Didn't mean to share that with you if I did. I've got some Aussie Cossack news. Aussie Cossack has been moved out of Long Bay. So
Wow.
that's the latest news from Mrs. Cossack, and he has been moved back into
tell me where,
Silverwater.
Carl?
He's back in Silverwater, and give me a moment. I will endeavour to find exactly.
Has his classification changed, Carl? What they've got him classified down to like a B1, B2, C1, C2, C3?
No, I haven't had any indication as to a class change. I did send her a few questions. She hasn't answered them. Simeon was transferred to a different facility yesterday. The Dawn de Laos, LOAS Correctional Centre. That sounds like the Ladies Correctional Centre to me. The Dawn de Laos Correctional Centre.
Okay,
But
so
anyway,
I did
still at Silverwater.
So while he was
apparently-
at Long Bay, folks, he was in the main jail. I'll just give you some insight. He was in the main jail. Okay, he had to be classified as an A1, A2, or B1, right? More or less to be in the main jail. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so he had to have them classifications. Under terrorism, they could give him that classification. The interesting thing is here for me is that they've moved him to Silverwater. He's probably dropped his classification, and he's maybe now down to a C1 or something, or a B2 or a C1, which then gives him visitors' rights, etc., etc. So it could be a step in the. That's all I'm saying. I know the inside how that prison system works, and yeah, that's interesting to me. He would have actually dropped classification to go there.
So will he have hair when he comes out? Karen wants to know. Bugger his hair. We want to know how much weight he's lost. Apparently he's been, well, the last we heard from him, he was going to go on a hunger strike. That was when he went in. I don't know how long that lasted, but I will be really keen to find out. I do expect that, in fact, Mrs. Cossack has told me that he has lost a great deal of weight. And you've got to imagine that if you've been left in a segregated cell 24 hours a day, then aside from writing, of which he's been doing a great deal, and reading, he has been reading. Apparently, I don't know how true this would be, but apparently he's wallpapered the cell with all of the postcards. So the postcards, for people who don't know, the postcards get photocopied front and back. They get edited. Anything that shouldn't be written in there gets taken out. And then those pieces of A4 paper are delivered to the inmate to read. So he gets back in front of the card on an A4 piece of paper, and he's been getting them by the barrel load. So he's apparently wallpapered his cell. I don't know if they give you sticky tape or blue tack in jail. I mean, you could probably fashion something nasty out of a bit of sticky tape and, plug up your bunghole with a bit of blue tack, and who knows, shit yourself to death.
Carl, I got to correct something I said. I said terrorism, and I was thinking about me actually with something else. You know what I mean? How they ping me with the Cossack. Sorry, wasn't terrorism. What I meant was, yeah, he's a federal offence to break them laws. I think, you know what I mean. So that's why he goes into that classification that I was talking about. You have to be in that classification to be held in that facility, folks. Okay, so that's why, terrorism was the wrong word to use. Sorry, there. It was actually, about. It's a federal offence to actually drop that stuff out, I would imagine. And that's where his classification grading come from. Carl, you're on mute, Carl.
There you go. I'll turn that one on. Does that make it easier?
That's better.
So in the best Aussie Cossack, in the best sentiments of the Aussie Cossack, folks, like and subscribe, please. It's the kind of thing that we need you to do. It gets the message out, and the more message we get out, the more people hear it. Okay, some people are not going to like it. Some people are. Some people might just get curious. If you've got curious people in your life, send them my way. Send them Dave's way. We will help them with their curiosity. We might make them a little more curious, but we will provide one or two, I was going to say answers, but that could be a strong term, Dave, really, couldn't it? We can provide a few directions. And Kaz, you're a direction hunter if ever there was one.
Well, look, you just got to keep plugging it at it, because it is starting to break in the mainstream media now, the news. It's very slowly trickling out, and we need to be here when these people start to get the full revelation of it. well, we need to be here to support them, but we also need to be here to provide them with the real direction. So, because no doubt that when that starts happening, they'll try to hijack it and take them off in another direction again. So we actually do have, like, we've got work to do. There's no two ways about it, you know.
Absolutely, yep, absolutely.
You're right.
I want to show you something. I'm just going to see if I can how I'm going to bring this up. Give me a moment here. Where are we?
Yeah, that's
No,
good. Aaron Stryker. Sorry, I just went to try and put a comment in because I'm used to being on my show, and I went, I'll put a comment in, but my mouse is not reacting. It won't do anything. Aaron Stryker just said, but naming a pedophile can't be a federal crime. Keeping it suppressed is the federal crime. Too true.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, you got to have somebody in there that's actually looking after your system, though. Now, I'm just going to try and share my screen here for a sec. Bring up that window there. Okay, so you're seeing that?
Yep, it's coming up. Yep.
Okay, so I'll read that for those who can't read it. It is fairly small writing. So I was having my hair done at a friend's house today. There was another client there too. A young nurse or midwife called in to drop something off at my friend, who is a hairdresser. She was asked how she was going. She replied, "Work's been very difficult." You could tell something was wrong. She works at the Budrum Private Hospital in the Sunshine Coast. She said there's been 5 stillbirths in the last 3 weeks. More than ever. That is the number, 5 in 3 weeks. That's more than ever. She also said that SCU, that's the Sunshine Coast University Hospital, has had 10 stillbirths in the last month. One mother almost bled out. She lost her baby and was given an emergency hysterectomy. Another were twins. Her GP's wife was one. Blood clots and hemorrhaging. The nurse's girlfriend has had 6 miscarriages in 12 months. One of the ladies asked, "I wonder why." Nothing's changed over the past 12 months. All 3 have been jabbed. You can imagine what this person was thinking. Couldn't help herself and asked what the young nurse, was the young nurse vaccinated? She nodded yes. She said that's why these babies are doing the thing. Some of the patients would have cesareans in the morning, but they'd hemorrhaged. This nurse cleaned up after one lady had bled out during the early hours of the morning, so an emergency cesarean was performed. She was a young mum. Almost lost her life. The nurse said that she was watching her die in front of her. Now, fortunately, she survived, but the baby died, and she was given the hysterectomy during that ordeal. Asked if the doctors are associating the jabby jab to the stillborn. She said yes, but nothing is happening. So there is an awful lot of horrid shit happening in the world, folks. And,
firstly, God bless to those children, that were, a creation of the good Lord. Yeah. Our heart goes out to them, firstly. You know what I mean? Those poor children that, listen, they're with God now. It's probably a better place to be walking into this joint at the moment anyway, but that's a horrible statement too, But, God bless them. It's just wrong. It is just so wrong. And we're sitting back and we're frigging letting it happen.
Yeah.
We should have enough people awake by now to be at every hospital, you know what I mean? And just stopping it, people. We got to stop it. We have to.
So I've sent it. I don't know if you guys have seen him down in New South Wales, but there's Dr. William Bay in Queensland is making big news up here at the moment. Now, I've sent emails off to his practice. Whether or not he's still at that practice, I'm unsure. You never get a reply when you leave a message. So I just don't know what's going on there at the moment. If anybody happens to know Dr. William Bay, I would love to have him on the program. Very keen to get him on for a chat. He's one of the bravest men in medicine, not just in Queensland, but in Australia. He stood up to the AMA conference last Friday and essentially explained to all and sundry exactly what was going on. The video, which you may or may not have seen, that he shot of himself speaking there, they shut him down on the microphone, the public microphone, but he yelled out, kept talking, and the other doctors in that place ran like rats off a sinking ship. It was disgusting to watch the medical professionals run like scared children out of this room and away from the bravest man in medicine, Dr. William Bay. Now, that man needs to be supported every step of the way, folks, every step of the way. And it doesn't matter what state you're in. There are doctors in your states feeling just like him. They need to be empowered. They need to know that they've got your support. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that. He's good. I'm also talking. I'm talking to. I've got to be careful how I do this. I'm talking to an owner of a doctor's surgery, of which there are, I think, 3 doctors, might be 2, working in it. Now, they are working completely at the moment against all health department guideline rules. Not one of them in that building is jabbed. Everybody in the town that they're working in, or the small city that they're working in, know that they're not jabbed. And those people who do not want to go and be jabbed or have anything to do with jabbing, or indeed are suffering from jab injury, are choosing to go to these doctors. But they have to do it on the quiet, because these doctors haven't been brave enough to stand up like Dr. William Bay yet. But they will. They will. They'll see the support, and they'll see that William Bay has not, as far as I know, been deregistered. I believe that there is a meeting someday, I want to say maybe Wednesday of next week, where the AMA will consider deregistering him. But we need to make sure that doesn't happen, folks. The man is speaking truth. And if the powers that be are going to deregister a man for speaking truth, then those powers need to be removed immediately.
And you doctors out there, how many kids' lives is it worth for your friggin' Ferrari or your friggin' house or anything else? Okay, what's it worth? Really, at the end of the day, when you know what's going on, you doctors out there, you know. You can't not know. All right, you are seeing it. You're on the front line, the battleground where these poor souls are getting taken to. Back to you, Deros. Okay, that are killing them in the first place. Seriously, guys.
Michelle's saying here that doctors' oaths, they're ignoring their oaths. Michelle, the Hippocratic Oath has been changed. They no longer take an oath to protect you, okay, to do no harm against you. That's not part of it. They've actually changed it. I'm not exactly sure when that happened, but I am reliably informed that the Hippocratic Oath no longer doesn't have particularly that first clause, thou shalt do no harm. Don't think that's there anymore. So if it was, we'd have more people, I would have thought, being part of this. So more doctors standing up. But clearly not the case. Clearly not the case.
As I say, what's your Ferrari worth? How many kids? How many deaths is your Ferrari worth, or your next car? And that's what they do. I know a doctor, mate. In the old school, they used to give him a car. He always had the latest car every 2 years, because he used to get given one by the pharmaceutical part of the BlackRock friggin' Vanguard Association. All right, they used to buy them the cars for pumping their drugs. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Push this drug and we'll look after you with this.
Yeah.
Come on, people, let's wake up. Let's do this.
A lot of people in the chat are saying Dr. Bay was, in fact, administering the jab for quite some time before he stood up and changed. Yes, I have no doubt that is the case.
Yeah.
They were all, any good doctor was coerced into doing this for fear of losing their license. Some of these doctors have put not just 7 years of university into it. They've put another 10 years of specialist study or, whatever else into their careers. They rightfully are protective of that, but at the cost of the people. And I think it's taken a long time for doctors to wake up or to gather the balls to stand up. I think Dr. William Bay should be applauded. Yes, he might be standing up late, but he is standing up, and he is standing up loudly, and he is encouraging the others loudly, and he is embarrassing the other doctors around him loudly. He is pointing out exactly what they are doing to their faces, and they are scurrying away like the scum that they are. So when they grow balls, when they'll stand beside him, when they will back him, then we might be able to start restoring some faith into the medical fraternity. But right now I have none. I pray every day that I never have to wind up in a bloody hospital underneath one of those bastards' hands, because it's just scary.
There's no way I'll go there.
Yeah, no,
facial recognition, bang, guru, quick, jab him, get him.
Yeah.
There's also Dr. Robert Malone. He actually had the mRNA, the first shot. So doctors are woken up periodically. It's what you do when you wake up. It's what you do when you realize all is not kosher. That's what matters.
Right.
can't blame somebody really for not knowing when they were literally being told that it's safe and effective,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now all that's changed. We're not seeing the media come out anymore and say, it's 100% going to, make sure you're not going to catch the cold. Get jabbed and you'll never have to worry about it again. Now all of that has changed, but nobody's apologising for the misinformation they put out for the 6 to 8 to 12 months beforehand. And that's what pisses me off about the media. When do they stand up and say, well, okay, we might have got on the wrong boat here?
Soon.
And would you ever trust the bastards again? Soddit's got a good line here. Bravery seems to be found in the very young or those on the brink of retirement with nothing to lose. Bravery is not typical of those with a wife, kids, mortgage and car repayments. 100% on the money. And do you blame people for that? I mean, you've got your own life to try and lead. We are given this matrix to live in and we try and do the best we can. I find it difficult, from my perspective anyway, to get upset with normies who are living that life unless they decide to disparage the way I like to live mine, proving conspiracies. Not talking about theories, but proving conspiracies. And there is a very big difference. So I don't generally go on the attack at those sorts of people until they decide they want to attack what I'm into. Each to their own. We all have to make decisions in all of this.
Carl, it really does depend, though, because you've got normies that are like us that are fairly libertarian. So our worldview is leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone and we'll get along fine. Do your thing. You do you. I'll do me. We'll all be happy together. But this is not what we've got. We've got a lot of leftists or ism normies. And they want us, they see us as the problems, and they believe that they actually know best how we should be living our lives. And it's just like, look, just leave me alone, okay? But they actually see us as being the problem. And it's just please tell me again how I'm, like when I see somebody with a mask on, it's kind of like, would you like an oxygen tank with that? How about a hazmat suit? It's just, but I mean, I don't care. If you want to go, if it makes you happy to go and have a mask and wear a mask, go knock yourself out. Just don't force it on me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Each to their own. This whole thing is a test. You get to make decisions, and then you get to live by the consequences of those decisions. So, and that's okay. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know if you've listened to what's his name? He owns Brightian. Oh, I know him really well.
Mike Adams. Mike Adams.
Yeah, Mike Adams put out something overnight, and he was actually pondering. He was going, "Are we the chosen ones?" And he was saying, but he said, if you think about it, they wanted to wipe out a certain amount of people, and yet would you want to keep the most intelligent ones? And so, what if this was actually meant to happen, and then they're going to come out and try and, reunite with us and go forward and say, oh, yes, well, we had to do this because there were too many people and, but you are the chosen ones. And he puts together a very interesting argument because originally that was the plan going back. And I have seen globalists actually state that was the original plan. So it's really interesting that he was pondering that. It's a pretty good argument. And anyone who's interested, go and see it.
Yeah, for any of the viewers out there that don't know, Mike Adams, right, he has his own servers and everything. Do not try and put his URLs on Facebook. They won't let it happen anyway, but you try it a couple of times, they'll rip you down, right, and get rid of you. Okay, but he has a thing every morning called Natural News, all right, and you can sign up for the email of it. And this guy is on top of all the latest stuff, people. Okay, he is great, Mike. He's a really good, and he's got the Lone Ranger health food shop where they got all the stuff, but don't try and get anything from America at the moment. But a really good guy, Mike Adams, top guy.
We had a bit of a chat last night with Kaz Smith about finances, and the world of superannuation poked its ugly little head up. Without delving into too much personal information, in you guys, there is seems to be quite a large movement at the moment for silver and gold. Let's see whether or not we can help along in that regard. There is a big prediction that the market might go down and crash pretty badly. Kaz was saying an 80% crash would basically wipe out all superannuation stocks in a country. And of course, if you are in a big super company, you're in shares and you have absolutely no control over that money. So she has a great way of getting back. Did you happen to catch that show? Or do you know much about what she was working on?
Yeah, a little. If you want my opinion on that, I think, yeah, certainly going to crash it. But again, you know, we're told in other facets, it's a very strange topic, Carl, because, you know, I've heard stories about we've recovered that much gold. The gold is the one that's going to actually drop price. You know what I mean? Then you hear that our silver reserves, okay, are actually being bought up by the elites, okay, and there's not much on the market. Kazza can give you the figures on what's here per capita, etc., what it would be per capita. But yeah, there's not much silver left. So again, I think that the currency, you know, they're going to crash the market. But again, these guys do everything strategically. You know what I mean? They'll be crashing the market whilst they're doing other things to us as well. So it's all just a manipulation, folks. The best thing to do is just get out of their system at the moment. You know, like you've been told, not by us. I'm no money person, okay? But you've been told to get your money out the bank, to get hold of silver and gold, okay, and to have some cash around, okay, and to get yourself organised. Folks, you got to listen to what's going on, okay? Now, that lady that was on with Carl last night, very reputable lady, all right? She sold all of her properties this year, just lately, okay? Got rid of everything, and all she's doing, she told a funny story. Imagine 44 kilos on your back, Carl.
Yeah, I know. God,
that's 2 bags of cement plus, mate.
Absolutely.
You know, sack on your back. Like, man, I'm telling you, that's
that's awesome. And walking down the street, like trying to look like, you know, all was normal.
Or like one of years, you could have looked like, you know, like, and yeah, but 2 years, come on, you know. But anyway, that's another story. But folks, you need to listen to what's going on. Don't listen to the mainstream money men markets, okay? They're just going to tell you bullshit crap, okay? You know what's going on out there. There are experts out there doing it. And they're for sure going to crash this system, okay? They have to do it, okay? It's not about them not having money. They can print money anytime they want. They're crashing the system to crash us.
Yep, that's what it's all about. The supply chain, slowing everything down and making the price of diesel as high as they possibly can, knowing full well that the big transport companies that are the largest users of diesel in this country outside the mining industry, and you think the petrol price is going to worry the miners all that much? Not a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, the plan was always to do this and then to bring in a controlled crash while building the controlled grid. So the surveillance grid is basically it is a technocracy. It's basically a scientific, you know, dictatorship where they're basically controlling it as they're crashing it down, as they're bringing us into destruction. So, but I do have a friend who has been working behind the scenes and on the Jassara actually, and she's like, even though it's going to be crashed, there's a competing solution that they're going. So there's two competing agendas at the moment. That's how I understand it. And there's a good agenda and there's a bad agenda, but both of them are racing to the finish line. So at the moment, so yeah, it's very interesting. But she assures me that she said, look, she said it'll be short-lived. She said there's so much money in the world. She says, you know, there's you've got no idea how much money there is. So it's really interesting. I think we're going to live through some very interesting times.
Yeah. You know, you watch these African countries flourish, mate, when the frigging cabal gets the foot off their throat and lets them operate like a country that they should be. They have all the resources in the world, mate. These people are rich, all right? This filthy frigging Luciferian whatevers have been screwed. You know, Africa could be the most beautiful, mate. You know, it's just wrong. We got to do. I'm getting really frustrated, Carl. I really am, man. We got to do this, people. All right. They're standing up around the world, and we're just still sitting over here. You know, like, someone's going to go out there and do that for us, aren't they? Guru, keep it up, mate. Carl, you're doing a great job, Carl. Yeah, you know, and I'm not having a go at anyone. I'm just saying we need to do this. Excuse me.
Well, people have said, why aren't we doing what's happening in the Netherlands? You know, get the tractors. And God knows we've got big enough tractors. You don't need to have 500 of them on a street to block it. We've We've got tractors that can block a freeway by itself. So both directions. So, how about some of the farmers when they come to Ekka this year in Queensland? That's the big show, if you like, the Queensland-Brisbane show. How about you bring in some of those bloody huge tractors that you've got out there? Park them up. Let's see how much people take notice then of how much the diesel price is. Although I can't imagine how much it would cost to drive or bring one of those in from out west somewhere. Be a bloody fortune.
Oh, some of these people, that could be a good place to go down with some vehicles exposing a little bit of stuff, Carl, and a good place to actually have some people rally up to somewhere like that with the farmers. Do they know what's going on? Or do they sit at home and watch the ABC every night?
Well, there's probably a big chance they do a bit of that too. But they are seeing what's happening. They are feeling the pinch on their properties. They're being told what they can and can't grow. The weather is, if the farmers have ever had any doubt, and I'm sure there's some old blokes out there who still do have doubts.
Do they know the reason why, Carl? The real reason why? Do they know that?
Well, one would hope they're waking up to it. But I'll get back to the original point. What can they do? Our farmers are scattered so far and wide and so diversely that to make an impact, they really have to come to the major metropolitan centres. Do you really want to sit on your big John Deere, whatever it is, how many wheeled tractor, travelling at 30 kilometres an hour for 500 kilometres so you can get to Melbourne or to Brisbane?
No, you just put them all on low loaders and take them down. That's how you do it. Everyone gets together. Everyone gets organised. There's plenty of low loaders and truckies around. Go on, guys, Australia, let's wake up. Come on. Let's get fill the low loaders with tractors and let's go, guys. Where we going?
But then the next point is, how long do they stay, Dave? The farmers need them on the farm. So do the tractors just go down for the day? You put them on the low loader and take them back the next day? What's the point of that?
Okay,
right? Nothing's going to be achieved.
If you stay there too long, they'll just freeze your bank accounts like they did in Canada. So what do you, Carl? Good question, Carl. This is what these shows are about, mate. Exactly. Yeah. What do we do? What do we do?
We want to do something. We want to do something that wakes them up. So freezing bank accounts, all right, well, that's not going to be a real problem if you've already put your cash into gold and silver and you know where there's a gold and silver merchant, you'll be able to break a bit off and get some cash. Not a problem. There will be other people within the movement who will be able to facilitate that for you. Not a problem. So what we need then is probably 20,000 tractors blocking up the main entrances to every major city in the country for as long as it takes. That's what it means. Are we prepared to do it, people? Are you prepared to stand up? Because there's plenty of normies out there who will hate you for slowing down their morning commute or stopping it completely. Will you be able to stand up to that sort of scrutiny? Will you not fight them, but love them, educate them, explain to them why you're doing it? Explain to it that even if they won't do it for themselves, you're doing it for them, for their kids, for their grandkids and their grandkids. Even if the people you're doing it for do not understand it. There's a lot of talk about this being an IQ test. Now, I've been saying that for 2 years. People get very offended when you say this whole thing is an IQ test. And because very intelligent people have been to university and, they've done real IQ tests. They know their score. Well, I can't explain to you that this has been an IQ test because you failed it. Okay? There's no way I can explain an IQ test that you failed to recognize was an IQ test to you and have you understand it. And I'm sad for that. I'm sorry for that. But that's just the way it is. You make decisions based on, the feelings and the emotions that were triggered in you at the time by the media and by, those well-meaning individuals you believe from government. And now you're feeling a bit of a result from all of that you're not happy with. I can tell you that the only thing that the people who have remained solid to themselves and solid to their own soul, the only thing they're feeling is sadness for those of you that didn't, because you missed the IQ test. You didn't not fail it. You just missed it completely. So I'm sad for that. But that doesn't mean you have to be excluded. We need to bring you in. You need to come with us. We are the ones that will help you in the end. We are the ones with the compassion. Not you. You threw us out. You had us, isolated, kicked out of our jobs, kicked out of our homes, kicked out of our towns. But that won't happen on our side. We will welcome you. because that's the kind of people we are, the ones who spotted the IQ test. So I hope that helps some people see that there is nothing malicious in what we do. There is only love behind what we do, particularly at my channel. There is only love behind what we do. And we can only move as fast as our slowest learner. So please, folks, pick up those that are struggling around you and bring them here. Bring them along. We'll try and have a bit of fun. And we'll try and do a little bit of education at the same time. Because without it, we go nowhere. We can have these little meetings every night. It'll be fun. We'll be able to talk about what the bastards are doing to us next. Eventually, we'll just start making jokes about it, because if we don't laugh about it, we'll cry. We prefer to be laughing about winning in all of this, I think. So come and join us, folks. Tell your friends. Voice of Freedom's the place to be. Guru Dave's channel, easy enough to find on Facebook too, Stop the Rot. So come and join us. We've all got a message. And on my channel particularly, this is the channel where you can share it. And very shortly, you'll have a way to share it. I'll be able to bring you up to speed on that real soon. But very shortly, if you've got something you want to get off your chest, you'll be able to do it right here. And we'd love to hear you. Easy done. So I've had my rant now, Dave. There you go. I've probably gone a bit longer than I expected. I do apologise.
Carl, you couldn't have said it better, mate. I'm just in one of them. Yeah, I'm just motivated to get everyone going, Carl. And yeah, but no, I could not have said that any better, Carl. That was absolutely brilliantly said. And folks, that's what this is about. This is what us people are about. And I'm not going to call it an IQ test or anything, although I do go along with exactly what Carl. That's the best explanation, Carl, that they actually missed it. They didn't even sit it because they didn't turn up for the friggin' test. You know what I mean? That is a good way to look at it. And unfortunately, you missed that day that the test was on, guys. You know what I mean? But listen, come and resit the test. Okay, it's not hard. All it is a little bit of research. Okay, a little bit of looking into some stuff. Okay, and we'll be able to help you open some stuff up to see what has gone on.
That's
but
right.
Like Carl just said, you haven't been told the truth. And the worst thing is you've been lied to. That is the worst thing. You have been lied to by your peers in society. They have blatantly lied to you to kill you, knowing that you will be killed through this process, or could be, is enough. Could be is enough.
People that you've trusted all your life have deliberately made a decision not to tell you the truth about things.
Yeah. And that should hurt.
It has been a long process, and they've had to do a lot of work in order to achieve it, because it started with the engineering of the expert. If you've noticed over the last 10 years, every time they get somebody on TV, they'll say, Tara is an expert in particular religion or something like that, or whatever is the topic of conversation. So people were looking, and people in staff rooms, people in workplaces have been quoting the expert for a very long period of time. So, and they were, you would hear them, they'd say in conversation, oh, they had such and such on last night and he said this. And so they quote the expert. So what's happened is, because people have been so busy, so overloaded with paying their mortgages, and so engineered into, they're trusting this media that has bought on these experts and engineered into believing the experts, then naturally it's been engineered against them, so that when the experts came along with this, people were able to receive it because they had been so trained to do so for such a long period of time. This is why we need critical thinking. This is why we need debate. Make debate great again in this country.
Absolutely, yep. Do they even do it in schools anymore, Kaz?
Oh yeah, no, we do. We still do. We still do debates. Like there's, there's, and open discussion and things like that. You have that in schools. But how many times?
Oh, hang on, wait! You said you have open discussion in schools? I'm going to call you on that.
Oh yeah, no, the students, if they, if they disagree with you, they'll be quite upfront about, disagreeing with you about a particular thing. So, and that's okay. Like because nobody, you just basically, the best idea should win. It's as simple as that. But Guru's challenged people to debates, or hey, come on my show. There's not one trial that comes through his thing where he doesn't invite them on and say, come and have it. He's open to the discussion. And this is what we need again. We need to have discussion, make discussion great again, make ideas great again. How about that? Listen to other people's ideas and see if there's any merit to it.
Yep.
None of them want to take on Guru because he's got the super producer and his wife behind him. See, they're flogged, mate, straight away.
Yeah, very true, very true. I'm just having a bit of a cruise through, see if there's any questions here that anybody is wanting to ask that I've missed. Carl, you're either good or bad. Well, I prefer to think I'm good, but I'm sure you'll be able to find some people who'll tell you that I'm bad. There's been a time in my life where I enjoyed being bad, sadly.
Well,
Now this morning,
I'm embarrassed to admit, but when you're young, stupid, and
well,
full of bad manners and alcohol, you can do all sorts of stupid things.
Exactly. We've all been there, but nobody's either 100% good or 100% bad. Everyone's a mixture of both. But that's irrelevant at the moment. Like, nothing else matters. Egos don't even matter. Egos don't matter. Nothing matters. Saving the country matters. That's the only thing that matters, because without the country, we've got nothing. Everything's gone.
That's exactly right. That's why you won't hear any talk of egos in my room. Certainly not from me. If you can prove I've got an ego, go for it. And look, I won't lie, I do have one, but it's not valid for anything I'm doing here. We've all got ego, but I have a professional ego, but it's not valid for anything I'm doing here, because what I'm doing here is me. All right. I'm not reading an ad. I'm not, spruiking somebody else's product. What I'm doing here is all me, comes all from me, nothing else. I'm not reading a script. I'm not making things up to try and entertain people like I did in a breakfast show. All I'm trying to do is give people information from the heart, give people help where I can, and give people a bit of inspiration and hope where I can. And hopefully, Dave, will hit the road soon, and we'll go and start doing that on the road and in towns. We're going to come to a town or city near you soon, folks. Really looking forward to that, because it's going to be how we get all of us together. It's going to be how we get us to unite, because if you won't come to us, folks, we're going to come to you. And we're going to give you a mug or a T-shirt or a cap, so you'll be able to see everybody else who thinks just like you do. You'll be easy enough to identify in a group. Right? We'll make it easy to find others that think like us. And then from that, strength will come. Education will grow, and more people will join. The people will regain the power and regain the control, and put a hand on the rope that holds the noose. But maybe that's a bit strong. No, it's not. I did say there was a bad side to me. Well, that's the bad side to me. I'm unforgiving of bastards who do evil things. Absolutely, 100%, completely unforgiving. I won't shy away from that.
Heard the saying, Carl, this town ain't big enough for the two of us, okay? And we're coming into town, folks, but the two of us is the evil and the good, okay? And we're coming to spread the word of the good to get rid of the evil, right? So, the town ain't big enough for two of us, folks. So us good people need to stand up and drive out that evil out of every town. We can do it, guys. There's enough of us.
Yep,
all right, there's
absolutely.
enough of us. We just got to do it. We just got to come to the realization that we have to save you. Listen, there's no use saving us. Look, we've got to save Australia, but every other country's got to save themselves. Because I tell you what, the rest of the world goes down and we're still here, okay, and we win. We're gone anyway. One little island here against the rest of the world, no hope. So, I've got my confidence the rest of the world wins. They've already put their foot forward, people. Where are we, man? We got to catch them up now.
And you got to remember too that what we are as human beings, we're created in the image of God, and that makes us creative. What do we do every time that there's a disaster coming? We have to actually start looking at this, this economic crash and going, hang on a moment, what do we do? In history, what do? We innovate our way out of it. All right, we're faced with people that have been very badly damaged. What will we do? We will innovate our way out of this. We'll find the cures. We always do. We always do. It's just who we are. It's, everyone might not make it. I'm not going to guarantee that. But we will find the solutions, because that's just what we do.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I like Aaron's point here. There's Faye. I don't know who Faye is. I've missed her comments, thankfully, in the room by the sound of it. Aaron saying he's part of a cult. We brainwash people to think for themselves. I think that's spectacular. Well, Aaron, I think Come join our cult, mate. That's the kind of thing we love. That's exceptional.
Aaron is.
Hey,
He's one
look,
of my viewers, mate. He's a great guy, mate. He's an absolute champion, Aaron.
I've got a lot of people contacting me in the email about going on the road, Guru. A lot of folks own caravans and motorhomes, and they want to form another caravan of courage. By the sound of it, mate, we could wind up with quite a few vehicles on the road and heading out to spread the word.
All right,
I don't
put it
want
out
to say
the yachties, folks. Put it out the yachties and get a few people on the water with me, and we'll just keep meeting up, folks. We'll just stitch the country. No worries.
Yeah. I mean, we might have to put you on a low loader, get you to Lake Eyre once they fill her up, mate, so you can get on your boat again.
Anything's
we'll
possible.
Figure something out.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. So yeah, that's a few interesting things I think for tonight's show that we've covered there, and I don't know. I don't really have much more to add. You guys got much?
No, just that everyone's aware of. We have had a little win with Angus. Coming into the military for us, Carl. Everyone take heed of that. I can see him. Trying to sort out some crap, and I can actually see him doing it. I put a thing out on my show the other day, so yeah, what I thought was going to happen, my opinion. And I'm still out on Angus Hewson. I know that you believe that he's on our side. I haven't seen enough. I've got to go back and really have a look at what he did in his time when he was head of the Defence Forces. I do remember that he was, I'm pretty sure, head of the largest defence build-up that we've had, like equipment refurb and build-up. But I also have a feeling that he might have been around the decision of the French submarines. I can't imagine he would have agreed with Malcolm Turnbull on that, but my timeline's a bit blurred on him. I need to go back and have a good look. He'd have no say anyway, Carl. Whether he didn't want it or not, he wouldn't have had a say. Oh, no, true, yeah. So thank you, Lise. Yes, peer funding thing. Yes, we are raising money to get on the road, to try and buy something that'll get us on the road. Motorhome, we've got a few requirements. We need to have some studio space, somewhere to live. I've got a daughter and a dog, so there's that. Guru and Mel want to come along and stay occasionally, and Guru eats a lot of beans, so we don't have a bit of room. Kaz might come and visit occasionally, and she wants to have her own powder room, so the larger the better. Currently, at the moment, it looks like I'm going to buy a 7x5 trailer and a tent over the weekend, and that's pretty much what we're going to be living in very shortly. So the show is going to change its look rather rapidly in the coming weeks, folks. It could well be coming from the front seat of a car or the back of a trailer. Yeah, at any rate, or the front of a boat. Who knows? Or the front of a boat. Yeah, who knows? And that's all part of the fun of this. We're purely organic. Yep. We'll go where the people want us to be, and be grateful that they actually want us anywhere. So, be very happy for the opportunity. The Caravan of Love tour, Jenny Finlay. I love what you're thinking there. The Caravan of Love tour. It doesn't quite say, what we want to do. Gut the bastards who've done this to us. But it does have a really nice cover title. I'll give you that. That's pretty nice. John Barilaro needs a job. Somebody's saying here. You got anything for him, Guru? John, like my good mate Romeo Georges says, the government loves you to death. Yeah, loves you absolutely to death. So, John Barilaro, take it as you will. Yeah, no fun at all. All right, folks. Well, look, wish you the very best for the weekend. I've just had a bit of a glance. Let me see what I've started. A few comments here. Oh, can we talk about AI, supercomputer, and mind control? Mind control is going to come. No, we can't really because we haven't got the time, Carl. But I'll tell you quickly. 5G is going to be the one, folks. Okay, seriously, you need to go and research what's going on with facial recognition. Okay, for a quick example, Guru gets off the wharf, goes up into the mall, boom, facial recognition picks him up. Oh, there's Guru. No, I'm not saying I'm anything, but I'm just using him as an example. There's Guru. We wanted to get him. Next minute, they can get straight to a 5G tower, right, within the mall, have a beam just as you're walking up the mall. They got you tracked on facial recognition. They're whacking you with 5G as you're walking up. This is what they're coming to, guys, okay? And this is where all this, this bullshit is going, okay? And we got to get rid of this 5G. As soon as we win the war, 5G's got to stop. Go on. Don't need it. My opinion only.
I hear you. Scotty Miles wants to know, John Laws, if we got on the radio, got 20 people to ring him up and ask where he gets all his information from and why should people trust the government? Lawsy wouldn't let you on the air, mate.
No,
he has very good handmaidens, and they will never let you on the air. So you'll never get the opportunity to ask the question of him. And that's the problem. But I can tell you that in the not too distant future, you will have the opportunity to do talk back with me. I don't know if that's of any interest to anybody at all, but have phone, we'll connect. Don't need to have your face on the computer. We'll just sort you out like it's a...
It'd be horrible if no one heard what we just said then about John Laws not letting them on, Carl, and they actually just locked up his switchboard with phone calls because they were trying to get on. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
It would indeed. It would indeed. If you feel the urge to block up Lawsy's phone line, I can tell you, Lawsy wouldn't care. Couldn't care less. He'll just sit there and take whatever money Bill's paying him and then go back to the multi-million-dollar apartment and have a fine lunch.
I'm not saying do it, but if you rang up to complain about the price of electricity and how you bill and you can't pay your bill, you might get onto the air, and then who knows what you might have to say once you got on the air. But don't do it. Do it.
You got to beat the 5-second delay. You got to be very smart, fellas. People got to be ambiguous there and throw it out because they got a 5-second delay on you or something all the time on live.
Well, at least 7.
Is it? Okay.
At least 7. Some of them have 11. Some of them have 15.
Yeah, I've been on
pretty much programming
a couple of times, and I know they've got me on it. Yeah.
They'll get you out on the 7-second delay. Very well trained on that. We all are. I've been doing it for years. So, but on here we don't have a 7-second delay. So
nothing to hide.
Here we just cut you off in mid-word. So all good. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Love your work.
Yeah, enjoy it.
We'll no doubt talk more of it over the weekend and into next week.
Cool. Thanks for the chance to come on the show, Carl.
Mate, always happy to have you. You know that. And Kaz, we love having you here too. So I thought Patriot 101 might have turned up tonight, but he obviously had a better offer on his excavator. So
he couldn't. No, he knew he couldn't compete with me and Kaz, mate. That's all. He's bailed, mate. So there's a challenge, bro. Hey, you going to fake it next week? Or you going to turn up, man? Hey, where's your ball, son? Come on.
Very good, very good, very good. All right, thanks, guys. We'll talk again next week. That's awesome of you. Cheers. Dave Guru Graham and the super producer Kaz joining me tonight for the Friday Free for All. Thankfully, no feedback issues tonight. I hope you had an interesting time, folks, and learnt one or two things. It'll be interesting to see how long this one stays up. I might actually remove it or put it on private on YouTube fairly shortly, so at least I get to keep one channel back. We next week hopefully have a few more interesting interviews for you. Bosie's not going to be around on Tuesday, and that may not be the case for a little while. Take from that what you will. We will investigate that further. If you would like to go and check out the website, Jaden, our web developer, has been sick, the poor bugger. He has been, struck down by something a little bit more solid than what I got, and has told me that he's a little bit behind in getting the main pages up on the website. But hopefully over the weekend we'll see something new there. But vofhq.com is the website. If you want to donate to help us get on the road, folks, every little bit helps. There's a donate button there, and we're grateful for anything that you can do. Every dollar puts another, half a litre of fuel in the car these days. So we'll just see what happens. All right. Love your work, folks, and have a brilliant weekend. If you're going out on the roads, there are too many dickheads out there for you to be a standout amongst them. So don't be, please.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!